Welcome, everyone. Truth seekers all across the fruited plain. You have found the truth.
I'm so
the
glad we're here.
the wildly opinionated news hour carries here. It's Todd's world. I'm here. I'm Todd,
Love it.
and we missed last week. Carrie was busy and had a bunch of traveling and other things to
Is
do.
last week the week we took off?
Kinda,
Man, that
yeah.
feels like 2 weeks ago.
I know.
It's been so busy,
How was all
but
your traveling? How was all
great.
your
Super.
trips?
Super.
Yeah, it was all good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
They
happy to
were
be
great.
back?
Happy to be back. Yeah,
Paying
just
attention. Did you pay a little attention to what was going on in the world or no?
I paid attention to the Pope news
Oh yeah, the Pope. That was
and
exciting.
and a little bit of trade talks. But
What do you think of the new Pope? Tell me that.
so the new Pope, I don't know a ton about him. I'm kind of excited that he is American.
Sure.
That's cool.
Dub
You know,
Bears.
everyone is into, the firsts, whatever, when these people take positions. So, yeah, it's cool. I
Dub
heard,
Bears.
I heard he's kind of a moderate, which is cool. He's from
It'd be nice if
Chicago.
he would moderate Francis's views somewhat, right?
I think so. I'm not thrilled about the border positions, but I feel good about the other like kind of traditional
Do you
whatever. I
think
mean,
it's
he's new.
fair when you get somebody like this,
Hmm.
like a new Pope? Do you
Yep.
feel like it's fair to just say, okay, let's give him a little bit of time and let's see what happens? Because I mean, if you're a Catholic, you
Yep.
believe, I think, that
Okay.
the Holy Spirit, God's Holy Spirit was behind this choice, right? Am I right about that?
Well, I pray that the Holy Spirit was.
Is at least guiding people and guiding
Yeah.
the
I
guys in the
mean,
dresses.
our prayers have been
A church
for
full of Dylan McVanies.
our pray our prayers. No, absolutely not. Our prayers have been that they are filled with wisdom and those choosing, those voting. Our prayers have been that they're choosing wisely and yes, that they're guided by the Holy Spirit. In fact, I heard something really cool. It was actually the priest in my mom's church talking about the Pope and actually I think he was, but he was talking also of about the challenges in general. And he said something really cool. He said that we needed to pray for in this. He said something about he compared the winds, the winds of our culture compared to the breath of the Holy Spirit,
Hmm.
which I liked
Yeah, I
because I
like
was
that
like,
too. That's an
I like,
interesting way to,
yeah.
to interesting. I mean, it makes some sense, as
Hmm.
kind of the juxtaposition of the two.
Exactly. So, yeah, so my prayer is yes, that he's a wise choice. I definitely think it's a good idea to give him some time.
Well, we believe
Hope for
that
the
the
best.
king's heart, not that the Pope's
King's
king,
heart.
but
Yeah.
but the leaders' hearts are
Yep.
in the hands of the Lord, and
Amen.
so hope God can turn it.
Yeah.
You know, the old King James would say, "Whithersoever
Whithersoever, is that a King James?
you choose it."
I like it.
Something like, "What can you do to
Mhm.
make the Bible the most confusing thing in the world?" Just read the King James.
It's just the era. It's the era. It's not like it was written in the last 20 years.
True.
Yeah.
Um, well,
What do
that's
you
interesting. I don't
yeah.
have strong opinions on the Pope because I don't think. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
It's
I
whatever.
mean,
It's interesting. It's part of
right.
the whole culture. You watch the purple smoke or whatever it is, the different things, and
Purple smoke. Oh, I did. That we have another coincidence here that this is kind of cool, and this is why some people in my family think this is pretty neat. Um, I feel bad. I don't actually know his original name, his birth name, but when a pope is elected, he chooses a name.
yeah, he chose Leo.
Leo the 14th. Well, it turns out he was chosen on my great great uncle Leo's birthday.
Oh, that's cool.
So we're like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Not that that has any bearing on it for anyone else outside of our family tree, but it's kind
How
of
much
cool.
of a difference do you think the Pope makes in in the world at large. I mean, if you were
Hmm.
to look at it and you look at Francis or whatever, I mean, is he really? I understand that there was a time, like even in modern times, even Pope John Paul II, there
Right.
was a time when when the Pope did matter.
Hmm.
But is that still the case, you think? I mean, not much. I understand it matters to some Catholics and whatever. What I'm
Sure.
saying is the Roman Catholic Church still a big enough? Well, not only is it still influential enough, it may be, but is the Pope still influential enough in the Catholic Church? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So here's what I would say to that, and this is just off the top of my head. I think the Pope, whoever is the Pope, is incredibly influential within the confines of like the church, the hierarchy of the
All the
church.
bishops and all that.
The bishops, the cardinals, the bishops, the priests, some
How
priests.
much does that still roll downhill, you know? Does it is it still pretty significant? Like you go to your
Yes.
local church and the
I'm
dude's
going to
like,
say, generally
"Well,
speaking,
the Pope said something today
yes. I'm
that
going to say,
matters."
generally
Yes.
speaking, yes, because some Catholics believe, and I would say definitely like the clergy within the Catholic Church believes that the Pope is infallible with matters regarding the church.
When he speaks regarding the church, when he
Yes.
speaks
So,
within what they his
yes.
infallibility, whatever they can.
Yes. So,
Not
yeah.
like if he orders a pastrami sandwich.
Right. They're like, oh, no, no one puts mayo on that, dude. What are you doing? Right. So I would say he's incredibly influential, but I don't know. It just depends. I don't know how to measure
Yeah.
the church's leadership with the people who are Catholic around the
Well,
world. I'm not
like for
sure.
example, last night I was watching. I'm rolling around YouTube and
Okay.
I stumbled on some Billy Graham stuff,
Okay.
and I turned on Billy Graham, and of course Billy Graham was massively influential across the culture,
Ooh.
right? Are you there?
Okay.
You
Yes.
there? Okay.
Yes. It just did a really strange glitch.
Oh, well.
It froze on your M, so you were like saying it's massively.
It's like what's going
Like,
on?
wow. Okay.
So Billy Graham was massively influential.
Hmm.
Do you think do you think a pope uh approaches that kind of maybe? I don't know. I is the truth. I'm not I because I'm not a
Yeah.
Catholic. So
I
that was one that I thought, Billy Graham was looked at as extremely influential within the evangelical world, you know.
hmm I think he's influential that way if he has the right personality.
Okay. That makes sense.
And yeah.
Well, it'd be
So,
interesting to see.
mhm, yeah.
I think that the Pope is maybe scheduled in the next few weeks to meet with Trump. I'm not positive.
Oh,
I thought I heard something about that, but
interesting.
it's hard to keep up with everything Trump's doing. To be fair,
Oh my gosh, he's so busy. It's like there's four of them.
it's pretty amazing. So,
Hmm.
did you see that I think I don't know if it was Friday that
Hmm.
he was telling everybody you better buy stocks if you're not, and then Sunday word leaks that over the weekend they've come to the beginnings of a trade deal with China.
Hmm.
And then, of course, the markets open today, and now the markets are up. I think 20% for the month, whatever that means, is what I
Okay.
heard. So pretty significantly.
I think right now we are just shy of the high at the end of the year last year.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it's coming back slowly.
What are you sensing? Are you getting a sense from anybody out there in the world, or are you just too
Hmm.
busy with other things that this isn't what they're talking about?
Well, I work in the financial world, so I listen to other
That's
people
what I
talking.
wonder. Yeah, yeah. What are you hearing?
What I hear is cautious optimism
Hmm.
that this year, since January, it's been erratic, obviously. Up and down. It's been very volatile. Volatile's the word I keep hearing. And that's stating the obvious, I realize. But the sense that I'm getting now is that it's slowly coming back. Everyone's getting cautiously optimistic. And that if this continues or kind of levels out, especially if an agreement is reached, that we could see that it could mean stability through the end of the year, and that is very good news.
Okay.
Yeah. So if it levels out a little bit and holds stable for a while, we'll be in much better shape than it looked like a month or two ago. Yeah.
Well, it's my opinion. I was
Mm-hmm.
talking to my brother-in-law, Brandon.
Okay.
You know
Mm-hmm.
Brandon,
What's
and
he think?
he's in the in the commercial world as far as like electrical works for a pretty big, decent sized electrical company, and
Okay.
he's in charge of their I think controls unit or something, and everything that's involved in that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot, but I don't know everything because I don't
Is it
work on
like
the commercial.
independent stuff or is it like utility? Like what is
Well,
it?
no, it's for bigger companies. So in other
Okay.
words, you've got like a Walmart distribution center. You got to set up all these systems to
Gotcha.
move all these boxes all over, and you got to
Okay.
wire them all in, and
Got
they
it.
do big things or HVAC, whatever, all the different things. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in residential. I've been on the residential side my whole life, and I've never done much on the commercial. But he said I asked him at church on Sunday. I said, how's work? And he said, it's a little slow, but he said, I'm hearing that from everybody. Everybody just seems they're all worried about tariffs. Oh my God, you better get ready. All tariffs are going to jump. And I told him, I said, I just think the media is doing everything they can. First of
Yep.
all, the Fed is politicized. The interest rates should be falling, and they're not because the Fed doesn't want it. The Fed hates Trump,
Yes.
and the media of course, hates Trump too, and they're doing everything they can to
Mm-hmm.
try to talk this economy into a recession, to try to convince
Yes.
people this is a recession coming. There's
Mm-hmm.
going to be empty shelves, just like COVID.
Right.
I haven't seen anything. There hasn't been one thing I went to buy that was any different than it's ever been.
Mm-mm.
Now,
Yeah, no,
I
not
don't buy a
yet.
lot of Chinese crap, to
True.
be fair.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't.
good.
Nikki did tell me that if you get on like I don't know what those places are. Sheen maybe is one.
Yeah, and Timu and stuff like that.
That things have gone up like wildly
And
and
wildly
good.
means what? Like it's a dollar instead of 75
It's
cents
twice.
or
Well, it's twice as much. I don't know how much it is. I
okay.
really don't.
Okay.
But point is that
Yeah.
the cost of doing slave labor is going up.
Going up.
Apparently,
I wonder if the slave labor is seeing any of
I
that.
don't think the slave labor.
That's a
I don't think
shame
they're
if they're
getting any of
not.
those benefits.
That's too bad. Well, I will say this, something I've learned, on this job is that the market, like what you're talking about, the media talking us into a recession,
Yeah,
like because they hate Trump. Um, that's really all it takes
right.
because it's
That's what they're
all
trying
about
to.
confidence. It's all
Well,
about
they
what do
know
they
it.
think. Right. So if everyone gets nervous, then things start
Yeah,
to fall. And then it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So
yeah.
that very well could happen. I hope Trump can overcome that. That's why I was saying like weeks ago, whatever he's doing has to happen quickly because if we're in like a free fall, it's going to be really hard to overcome.
Well, I think that he is. I think Trump is trying to thread a needle that it seems damn near impossible to me.
Mm,
He is trying to correct
yeah.
decades of corruption and abuses and
Mm-hmm.
America Last
Right.
and everything else. And Biden, just in the last 4 years, you know that Biden. I read something, and I don't know where that was at, but let me see if I've got it. It wasn't a
Okay.
clip per se, but it
Well,
was
while
what
you're
Biden's.
looking,
Go ahead.
while you're looking, I was just going to say, you're talking about Trump threading this needle. I do believe, and this isn't just like blind Trump love. This is really just observing what an intelligent like negotiator, like what an intelligent kind of chess player he is. I think if anyone can do it, he can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that too, but I think he's trying to thread a needle of Biden so artificially pumped up and inflated the economy. Do you
Right.
know you remember when Biden when in 22 they were the midterm elections were going on and the Democrats needed gas prices to come down. So Biden opened the strategic oil reserve. But he didn't just open it. They emptied the strategic oil reserve so fast
Right.
that in order for Trump to refill it, they have to spend $100 million on repairs.
Wow.
But that's not the only thing. As soon as it became clear Trump was winning the election,
Hmm.
between then and when Biden left office, they proceeded to shove out the door $100 billion to this NGO and that NGO and this
Right.
Democrat thing and this
Oh, I
foreign thing
know.
and this foreign thing, and that was over and above what would be normally have done. So they were
Wow.
just, I mean, they were raiding the cupboards. It just, so Trump is left with an economy that has $36 trillion in debt. He's got trade problems all over. The Chinese,
Hmm.
I guess, actually told Scott Besson, our Treasury Secretary, this
Oh, I wanted
weekend.
to know what he had to say about this.
They
Thank
told
you.
him that one of the reasons that they didn't worry about the trade deals they had with Trump as far as Biden goes is because Biden was too weak to enforce any of them. So, you know,
Wow.
it's and so what Trump's trying to do is do a bunch of things without without driving the economy into recession in order to accomplish it.
Right.
Reagan was not able to thread that needle. Reagan and Paul Volcker, who was the Fed
Hmm.
chairman in
Okay.
Reagan's early days, they ended up driving it into recession, and then it sat there for about 2 years before it came back. But it came back hard.
Yeah. I'm right, but I'm sure they're trying to avoid that. I mean, the media wasn't quite as powerful then as it is now, and certainly wasn't as,
You
hell
know,
bent on
I
ruining
think
Reagan's image.
I think the media might be less powerful now. I was thinking about that today, and I thought I look at
Oh,
us,
let's hear this
at least the
perspective.
mainstream media,
Right.
because with especially with Trump, it started with Rush. So Rush breaks into the this is in '88, right?
Okay.
Gets on all the AM radio stations, creates talk radio
Right.
basically out of whole cloth.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, there's an alternative. From Rush, you get Rush's TV show, and from Rush's TV show, you get Roger Ailes, who was Rush's producer, who then went on to start Fox News.
Okay.
So you begin to get this entire conservative. You begin to get an alternative media. Now, I'm not
Sure.
saying that it rivals the mainstream at that point, but to me, the final piece of that was when Elon bought X, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
it's wide open. And then Trump gets reelected, and all the socials start backtracking on, oh God, we didn't know that we shouldn't have been censoring like that because the feds were telling us to censor. And
I mean, there's certainly way more voices now, but I don't know. I just
if
maybe,
you look at the numbers,
yeah.
the
The numbers of what?
numbers that like the viewership, like if you take the viewership of like a CNN
Hmm.
or a PMSNBC and you take their best show,
Yeah.
they don't hold a candle to our biggest podcasters. They don't hold a candle to Joe Rogan. They're getting like maybe 500,000 viewers, and Joe Rogan is getting maybe 13 million. Like that, it's
That's just really crazy.
significant.
So where are all these people getting this bad information?
Well, it does
How is the
filter
brainwashing
around.
so effective still if the
Well, I
numbers
mean,
aren't there?
I think that the mainstream media is still to some extent setting the stories that are echoing out there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so if
Hmm.
people aren't paying attention, and if all they get is the stuff that pops up on Apple News once in a while or something,
Yeah.
then yeah,
Okay.
that tends to be what they're getting. But I think they
It's
are
wild.
losing. I think the fact that
Hmm.
look at everything they did to Trump
Hmm.
between, I mean, stealing an election,
Yeah.
like trying to put him in jail, all these
Hmm.
lawsuits, trying to kill him, all of
Right?
this, and he still comes through and gains voters, and his movement's bigger than ever, and he's more
Yeah.
powerful than ever. And you got to say, see, to me, I look at this. People are getting frustrated, I think, with the Trump administration to some extent. But I think that they don't realize exactly what he's still up against. That's what we've talked about some. You know what I mean? They just don't understand
Oh,
that this is like,
excuse me.
this is a war.
Hmm.
Now, the tide has shifted towards our side in the last year, to be
Praise
sure.
God. Hmm.
But it's still a war. Like
Oh,
the other
yeah.
side still has some punches to throw.
They do.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they blatantly lie. They say whatever they want.
And they have three big things. They have the media.
Uh-huh.
The mainstream media is
Hmm.
still in the tank. Now they have so damaged their credibility.
Hmm.
on the COVID jabs. The COVID exposed so many things, and then beyond that, we're still getting things exposed. And so the mainstream media is wounded.
Hmm.
You have the courts.
Yeah.
Courts are probably deep state on average. And
Right.
they may,
I was gonna say deep state was one of the things, but
I mean, on average, Trump's probably at war with the courts.
okay.
I think he's trying to keep it for the large. Now they're talking about suspending habeas corpus. Did you see that?
No.
Stephen Miller said they're looking at suspending habeas corpus for illegal immigrants,
Okay. And
which is
habeas corpus is
that's
is that
all the due
the due
process that they
process?
talk
Okay.
about.
All right.
What Lincoln did when he suspended habeas corpus is he just started arresting journalists and throw them in jail, and they just sat in
Okay.
jail. They don't get court, they don't get anything. They sit in jail till the end of the war
I mean,
because
that's
he
I was
didn't
gonna say
like him.
that's what happened to the January Sixers.
Right. It's the exact same thing that happened to them. And they
Did
never
they
their habeas corpus was never suspended.
okay. Okay. So
And the
anyway.
Constitution gives the president the right to do that. And one of the times is during an invasion.
Oh,
So
that's right. We talked about that.
he's fighting the courts.
Hmm.
That one I don't even know if that's even heated up yet. And then
Okay.
he's also fighting Congress. Now, Congress he plays pretty nice with.
Hmm.
I'm not sure he has a lot of options. If people are looking for the Republican Congress to do anything, they need to stop. They need to remove all expectations they have completely. The only thing that you are getting out of a Republican Congress
Hmm.
is it's not a Democrat Congress.
Oh my
That
gosh.
is all you're getting.
Okay.
Hopefully they're not passing the craziness.
Todd, I know that you have a lot on your plate. You're a busy man doing all these podcasts, these amazing, these amazing podcasts. I hope you're all like following us and reviewing and all that. But I'm going to need you to remind me every single day to lower my
To lower
expectations
your
of the
expectations
Republicans
of
in
the
DC,
Republican
please. Yeah.
Congress. Now, that doesn't mean there are people who think, well, then all this is pointless because the next Democrat president can come in. I don't believe that. See, I think Trump,
Hmm.
J.D. Vance, MAGA, I think
Yep.
we can build a movement that will continue to grow. And I
Right.
think we can hold the White House for 12 years. And I think over the course of those three
Hmm.
terms,
Yep.
we can begin to replace the worst of Congress. Now, part of that
Okay.
might be arresting some of them. I see. I think that's the other
I'm
thing that's
okay with
coming.
that.
I think that we're seeing corruption exposed.
Hmm.
Now we're wondering because we don't see enough done about it or as much done as we'd like to see about it. But
Hmm.
the exposure is where it's got to start. And I
Hmm.
really think that I don't think people understand the scale of what we're up against. This didn't happen yesterday.
Right.
Like, this
Right.
has been decades and
Yeah.
decades in the making. They have fortified, they have NGOs, they have things we haven't even dug up yet to find out,
Hmm.
oh my God, that was another place that Walter White was hiding his money.
Not just under the floorboards. Right. So, okay. The thing that makes me optimistic about what you're saying about this movement and the growth of it is that it's urgent. And the people who love America, when they realize how bad it is, I mean, they're like really, really strong, like, they're strong converts. They're really passionate about it and
Yeah.
they dig in really deep very quickly. So that makes me kind of optimistic.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
I think it is optimistic.
now at the same time, the other side, the opposition, is also panicking, and that can,
The Democrat Party,
escalate equally. Because I
I
mean,
don't even know if they count as an enemy anymore.
oh,
I
they
have
are.
never seen a party so lost at sea.
Well, they
Now,
are, but
if
they
you
have
lump
the
into
deep
the
state.
Democrats, the
Yeah.
media, and the deep state, then
Mhm.
sure. But as far
Here,
as just a political party, I I don't I don't know where how they come back. I just don't know.
but I want to remind you what you said. You said, "Do you believe that they would do anything to hold on to their power?" And the answer is
Yes.
yes, they will do
Hmm.
anything. So I think even if they're lost, even if they're panicking, even if their
Oh,
numbers are
they will do
dwindling,
that.
they're going to fight back with whatever they
What I've
have.
been
And
surprised at with the Democrats is the abject lunacy that they
yeah,
have been willing to tie themselves to. It
Yep.
would be like a person
Hmm.
drowning, and you
Hmm.
throw them a concrete block with a chain on the end, and they're like, "I want that," and you're like, "What?
Right.
That's not what you need."
Right. The concrete block being, let's let's bring back this violent repeat offender, sex trafficker, drug dealer, woman abuser, illegal back into the country because he needs due process. Would that be like an example of the concrete block?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just why would you tie yourself
I don't
or the
know.
trans thing, men and women's sports? I
Yeah,
just
men and yeah.
that's just a loser. The American people are
Hmm.
not there, and they're not there by 70 or 80%. I don't understand.
Right.
I think they don't see any way to decouple themselves from that without because
Hmm.
the trans have to some extent uh, kind of blended themselves in or tied themselves in with the wider gaze and
Hmm.
everything else.
Right.
And so I think they don't know how to decouple one of those. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Exactly.
Well, and that's the problem. That's the tangled webs that evil weaves.
That'll
It
do
makes
it.
it
I
hard
know. They didn't
to
really look.
untangle.
They didn't really look. I mean, here's the thing. If they started down the path of acceptance and love and let, people be who they are, started with, love who you want to love, that's fine. It all sounds very warm and fuzzy and welcoming and beautiful. But when you don't look far enough ahead to say you're allowing men in women's bathrooms or little girls' bathrooms or men playing in women's sports, they just didn't think it through.
Oh
And
my God.
yeah.
I saw a video this week and
Yeah.
I don't think I could, without the video, I don't think I could play it. It wouldn't come across, but it
Okay.
was maybe a 10-year-old, 8 to 10-year-old boy
Oh
dressed up
boy.
like a girl, pretending his mom believing he was a girl.
Okay.
And the video was
That's
the
funny.
doctor trying to explain to this boy that they want to make a girl what he's about to go through. And then the mom holds him down while the boy's shaking and crying and getting his first
I was going to say it's an
puberty
injection, right?
blocker or something.
I have
Yeah.
seen that video.
And
That
I thought,
video
oh
like
my
made
God,
me sick to my stomach. It's
what is
so
going on in this
awful.
country?
That kid is freaking out. And it's
And
like
it just,
painful. They're talking about how painful it's going to be, right?
yeah,
Oh,
it's horrible. It's
yeah, that's,
horrible.
yeah.
But
Mm,
anyway, I don't.
yeah.
Here's someone that the Democrats are tying
Okay.
they're tying their hopes to. This
Okay.
is our old friend Jasmine.
All right.
Miss Scottsgraves, I want to play a game. It's called Trump or Trans. You ready?
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to tell me whether or not it is Trump or trans people that are responsible. You understand? Okay, very
You
good. The
understand?
first one, gutted medical research.
Trump.
Kidnapping Americans and sending them to foreign countries, aka deporting them.
Trump.
Trans,
Driving us into a recession.
trans,
Trump.
absolutely
Increasing
trans,
the cost of everything.
Trump.
trans.
Waging an idiotic tariff war.
Trump.
Harming farmers.
Trump.
Ignoring the Constitution.
Trump.
Proposing to take away Social Security.
Trump.
Cutting health care.
Trump.
Firing government workers who keep our country safe.
Trump.
Encouraging
Uh-oh. I don't want to lose. I don't want to miss a moment. How did I do
an
that?
environment of hate and divisiveness.
Trump.
Trump.
Thank you so much. This committee could be engaged in actual oversight of fraud, waste, abuse, and mismanagement. So let's talk about waste. Like Trump's plan to spend almost $100 million for his little birthday.
Oh, Jazz.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's the best they've got.
She's just got to go.
That's the best
Bye,
and the
Jasmine.
brightest.
That's ridiculous.
It really is. I mean,
Yeah.
any of them, AOC, any of them, they're all. Here's. Oh, did you see that they put a huge bronze statue of Tish James in Times Square?
No.
It's a
Wait.
large, overweight African American woman that I think looks just like Tish, but
Oh,
maybe
is this supposed to be her or are you making a
I don't
joke?
know. It just looks like Tish to me.
What
And she's
what
in New
is
York. I mean,
what
I
is
know
this
that she lives
sculpture?
in Maryland,
Right, but she's
but
like what? She's not even like a district attorney, right? What is
she's the
she?
AG.
Oh, she's Attorney General.
Attorney
Is it
General of New
typical
York.
that an Attorney General has a bronze statue
I don't
erected
know,
in the
but this
city?
was
Are you making a joke about
what
who this
other
is?
what other
All right, wait. I'm
large
looking this up.
African American women are they making statues of? Or
Well, I don't know. What's
is
the
it just a
point?
statue to the generic large African American woman?
I know, right? I mean,
Larger, not as large as they can get in the wild, but larger. And I don't have
oh
any
my
problem with it.
goodness.
I think people can make statues of whatever they want. But
Okay.
I just think if you're going to make a statue of Tish, you should put it in Maryland. That's her home.
Did Mayor, you know what? You know what?
Here she is.
They're
And
going to
you
be
want me to
erecting.
sit in my seat and stand idly by and allow this craziness to happen?
She's not happy
You
about the
can come
statue
after
at
me
all.
if you want, but you elected me to stand up. You elected me to use the law. You elected me to go to court. You elected me to continue to challenge this administration. You elected me to stand up for the least of God's children. You elected me to continue fighting on, and I will fight on.
Damn straight, especially since she got that statue.
Why is she always screaming like she's
You
trying
don't
to
want
preach or something?
you don't want to miss Tish.
Okay, I don't see anything in the news. Are we sure
Okay.
this is?
It is. I
Oh,
have
there it
to.
is.
Yeah.
Who is it?
I don't know what it is. Doesn't it look like Tish?
It does.
That's what I mean.
She doesn't look dressed like her, but this is but it looks
Well,
like her.
that's probably from, more in her home confines of Maryland. So, with the
It's
poor
just a
Maryland man.
12. I was gonna say, like I was looking for a Marilyn Man joke in there. I couldn't come up with it in the midst of her powerful speech. It's a 12-foot tall bronze statue of a black woman,
Okay. We don't know for
capturing
sure if it's
the
Tish.
attention of passerby. It says the artwork aims to inspire reflection and celebrate presence in public space, even without a famous name.
You know what I think is weird is that I feel like it should be like a statue of of a an overweight African American at McDonald's yelling and throwing their fries. I feel like that would be that seems most apropos to me. There seems to be a
I
lot of problems in the fast food area with the African Americans lately, and I don't know why.
I
As far as I know, from McDonald's, they're loving it.
We're loving it. I think I think the weight doesn't matter. I don't care what someone's I don't care what their
Well,
size
I'm just
is.
referring to the statue.
Right.
I
I'm
don't
just
care what
saying,
people
like
weigh
it's
either,
well, I was gonna say it is intentionally
but they added
a
extra bronze.
thicker woman, but she's apparently nobody. She's just supposed to inspire reflection, but she's nobody. I don't get it. I
I
mean,
wonder if it's a like they're keeping it on the down low, but it's a subliminal
mhm.
advertisement by Big Pharma for Ozempic. That's what I wonder. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Who knows what's going on in New York?
Or it's a subliminal message from McDonald's.
You're loving it. Come back. We cleaned your fries up. Come back. We'll be nicer this time.
Ah, oh
Um,
my gosh.
you know what happened? What? Okay. That's it. This is a they created a pot. You probably didn't see this. This was a little outside the box. I'm going to get into some Biden clips that are kind of fun.
Oh
But
my gosh. Are
this,
they recent? Is he alive?
yeah, they just hauled the corpse out.
Okay.
But first, they created this pod. Let's listen to the
Pod.
clip. It's a suicide pod.
Okay.
Let's see what this guy says. So it's this elderly couple. They were married for how long were they married for? Now I can't find it. 46 years of marriage
Okay.
in Switzerland, and they've got this pod.
Designed with a view to being used in nature, whether that is at a beach or in the Alps.
This is too much. But anyway, here's what they did. They
Okay.
designed these pods, and you get in, and um, it uses liquid nitrogen to induce death by gas asphyxiation. Therefore,
Okay.
so essentially, it's setting a historic precedent in the field of assisted dying. What happens is it's a 3D printed suicide pod that uses nitrogen hypoxia to end the life of the person inside in under 30 seconds after you press the button inside. So there's a
Wow.
button in this pod that looks
Sure.
like something that Elon would send somebody to Mars in.
At
Except
least the
nobody's sending
button's
them to Mars.
inside and not outside, I guess, but okay.
So
This is
this is like this is build your own Holocaust. So you can Holocaust yourself.
this is what on earth? It says that it's illegal in Sweden.
Well, this is Switzerland.
Oh, Switzerland. Okay,
Sorry,
sorry.
Switzerland. That's where this assisted suicide pod is made. And I
Okay.
guess Switzerland has a euthanasia system.
I was gonna
Oh,
say there.
they're
Yeah.
UK residents, but they went to Switzerland because they have a euthanasia framework and they got these new pods.
So this old couple went
This
there?
old couple got in a pod. The
Wait, they
pod
didn't
isn't
even
together. They
they
don't
didn't
die
even get to
holding
be together?
hands. No, they die pressing buttons.
You know
And
that
what if one of
guy.
them changed their mind?
I was gonna say, you know that guy didn't push the button. He was like, he said, "Yeah, we'll count of three."
He's knocking on the inside of the pod window.
Oh my
Listen,
gosh! Wait.
it was still death to us part. Did she press the
Okay.
button yet? 46 years, man. It's a
Okay.
long time.
I'm sorry. I have to apologize to our listeners that I'm laughing. I'm laughing while we're talking about suicide because
It's a
suicide
long
is
time to be together.
very serious, very whatever. But I'm in a grief period, so I laugh inappropriately. And I have to tell you, I've just done a search on Google about the suicide pod in Switzerland. And what has come up is a suicide and crisis hotline.
Oh.
It's like help is available. Speak to someone today. And I'm like,
You think they got a phone in the pod?
I really just
It's like a little red phone, and they're like, "Hey, I'm having second thoughts. What about this button?
too late. We've sealed the pod.
You're going to Mars, buddy, one way or the other."
How do you feel about this, Todd? I know we're being funny, but how do you
I
feel
do
about
not.
this?
I think assisted suicide's wrong. I don't
I
have
think
any
it's wrong. I think it's really sad that this entire country
ethically
doesn't value
wrong.
life enough that they're like, hey, let's I'm sorry. I can't believe this old couple has to go into two separate pods.
I don't know. Now listen. I mean, I guess people do whatever they want, but I just, yeah, I'm not a big fan of euthanasia.
Me neither.
I'm not a big fan. There's so much of our society that wants to contribute to the destruction of human life.
Yeah,
Whether it's war, or abortion, or euthanasia pods,
right.
or COVID jabs, or really anything.
Right.
Like, I would like to see our society move more into the space of promoting life. Like being like,
Right.
no, we like people. We think they should live and
Right.
live well.
Right. Hey, I guess I should be happy. I should be happy that when I Google that here, I get a help is available
You do.
hotline number. So maybe there are people who still place some value on life. Wow. Is it called a
Suicide pod.
suicide
I don't know what
pod?
they called it.
Is it called a narcopod?
Yeah, that's
Or
what it's called.
sarcopod?
Sarcopod, narcopod. I don't know. I have no idea.
Narcopod.
I already closed that one out. That
All right,
window's
that's
gone.
fine. That's fine. All right.
I'm back to the corpse.
Okay, yeah. What was
They
was
hauled the
Biden
corpse
talking?
out. Like, they can't let this corpse rest in peace. It doesn't matter what they do.
You know what? I think Biden was the other guy, was the husband in that couple's pod trip.
Yeah. And it doesn't, you can't kill Biden.
No.
He's like, the cockroaches in New York. Like, raid doesn't even work. So they asked Biden if he thought that Kamala, like,
Oh.
was she what happened? Like, was she good? Was she not good? I think he's on The View. That's where he's at. So these clips
Oh, they
are from
had
The
Biden on
View.
The View?
The View decided to have Biden and Dr. Jill on.
Both of them?
Yes,
Is The View still on TV?
I guess. They're video clips.
They need to make a pod in Switzerland big enough for the panel of
For
The
the
View.
entire View television show. And put some little fella in there to press the button.
There you go.
Here's Joe.
Lost, and were you surprised? I wasn't surprised, not because I didn't think the vice president was the most qualified person to be president. She is. She's qualified to be president of the United States of America. But I was surprised. I wasn't surprised because they went the route of the sexist route, the whole route. I mean, this is a woman. She's this. She's that. I mean, it really. I've never seen
she can barely talk.
As successful and a consistent campaign undercutting the notion that a woman couldn't lead the country and a woman of mixed race.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
mixed race woman.
And they played that to a fairly well. In addition,
how about just a woman who's dumb as a rock? How about that? Maybe it wasn't even that she was a woman. Maybe it was that she was retarded. Maybe it was that.
It could be that.
Probably
I'm
not
sorry,
mixed
he says
race.
He never saw anything like it. I'd like to know. I never heard anyone saying that. Never heard anyone saying, I just can't vote for a woman yet. It was more like what you said. The woman can't complete a thought.
Yeah. I mean, nobody was saying they wouldn't vote. I mean, the election was close between Hillary and Trump. It wasn't because Hillary was a woman that she didn't break through the glass ceiling. Right. It was because people hated her. Here's Biden. Biden is convinced he would have won.
You had previously said that you thought that you would have won.
Sure.
Since then, Donald Trump won all the battleground states and made inroads with almost every major demographic, from working class voters to Hispanic men to black men. Knowing what you know now, do you think you would have beat him?
Yeah, he's still got 7 million fewer votes.
Yes.
Okay.
He's what?
A lot of people didn't show up.
He got 7 million fewer votes. That's what he claimed. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, 2020 versus 2024. I don't know what the totals were. It doesn't sound right to me.
No.
I think he meant he got 7 million less than the corpse got in the mail-in ballots. I think that's what he's talking about. I think that he's saying that I still got 7 million more mail-in ballots than he did. I mean, the printers weren't running for him.
Number one.
Number one.
They're very close in those toss-up states. It was it wasn't a slam dunk, and so look, every time.
Oh my God! He just fell off his chair.
I've been fortunate to be on more than once. Thanks for having me.
Still talking.
Is that we talk? You guys don't focus on as much, and I think it's good on polling numbers. But let me put it this way: he's had the worst 100 days any president's ever had.
Oh,
yeah, that's a fact.
That's one of the media's talking points.
And I would not say.
And the audience claps for it.
Like trained seals.
We're so glad he's failing. Yay.
You had previously said that you thought that
Oh,
you would
shut
have won.
up. Why are you talking again? I
They
don't even know who
suck.
anybody on The View is, hardly.
Me neither.
Whoopi's on there,
Except
I think.
Joy and Whoopi. I know them.
And
so,
what do you
my
think?
gosh. What do I think? I just think
They drug him back out of mothballs because Trump said the worst
can't-
100 days, and America's pining for the corpse.
I think it's funny how he says that did I hear him correctly that he was talking about the swing states and that the battleground states that
were
he wasn't
close.
they were close. It wasn't a slam dunk. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
was it a slam dunk that he won them all?
That seems like.
I mean, he won them all, so I'm gonna call that a slam dunk.
To be fair, you could win a game by a slam dunk and it only win by 4. I mean, it's not. But
True.
Biden,
You
it's
know.
been a long time since Biden has dunked a basketball, I think. This is.
Since the kids were touching the hair on his legs.
Do you know
It's been a while.
there's a book coming out, I think this week.
Okay.
And Jake Tapper is one of the authors, and then there's somebody else, some other famous
Okay.
media member who's an author. But
Jake Tapper.
supposedly this book is going to be devastating for the Democrat Party and their complete neglect and just the scheme to keep Biden's cognitive decline covered up. And
Jake
that this
Tapper's involved.
That's
I'm kind
what
of
I'm hearing.
excited. I'm kind of
I don't
excited
know.
about that. I used to like Jake Tapper.
Did you?
Yeah.
Maybe he sees he wants to make some news, and who knows.
He should
But
make some news. I think someone needs to say something about it because it should appall. It should appall
I've
Americans.
heard multiple people say the Democrats are not ready and have not reckoned with what the revelations in this book are going to mean to them.
Oh my gosh.
Now I don't know.
I
Obviously,
mean, hey,
there's early copies of the book floating around that people have seen and read or
okay.
whatever. But
Might be fun.
maybe
Should we do a little wildly opinionated news hour book club and
Yeah.
go read
next week
Jack Taper,
maybe we'll hear about it.
Jake Tapper's book? Okay, cool.
So anyway, this is the last cut of the corpse on the View,
Okay.
and he's got Dr. Frankenstein Jill next to him,
Okay.
and she's gonna save him because they ask
Thank
they
you. I was
ask him
gonna
about his
say.
own cognitive decline.
Oh no, they do?
Mr. President, since you left office, there have been a number of books that have come out, deeply sourced from Democratic sources, that claim in your final year there was a dramatic decline in your cognitive abilities. In the final year of your presidency,
I wish
your
we gotta have
response to
video.
these
I wish you could
allegations,
see
or
him.
Are these sources wrong?
He's probably like,
They are wrong. There's
Ah.
nothing to sustain that. Number one. Number two, you know,
Your objection
think of
sustained.
what we were left with. We were left with a circumstance where we had an insurrection.
An insurrection! Oh my God!
Not since the Civil War.
Civil War.
We had a circumstance where we were in a position that the pandemic, because of the incompetence of the last outfit, end up over 1 million people dying.
Oh my God! They were piling them on the
situation
streets.
where we found ourselves unable to deal with a lot of just basic issues.
Oh,
And,
we all know.
basic issues
We all know.
And so we went to work.
like pandemics
and we
and
got
insurrections.
It done. And you know, one of the things that well, I'm
Well,
talking
and
too long.
Alyssa, you know, one of the things I think is that
Dr. Jill to the rescue!
Here she comes. What'd she say?
people who wrote those books were not in the White House with us.
Oh.
And they didn't see how hard Joe worked every single day.
To sign
He'd
things
get
with an
up,
auto
he'd
pen.
put in a full day, and then at night
A
he
full
would
day of
find me
signing.
in bed, you know, reading my book, and he was still
Oh,
on the phone
he's
reading
on
his
the
briefings.
You know,
This dude
working
went
his
all
staff.
night
I mean,
long.
it was nonstop.
Promising
It's-
money
the
to
White House,
Ukraine.
being president
Takes
is
a
not
lot.
like a job. It's a lifestyle. It's
It's
a
a
life that you
lifestyle.
live. You live it 24
That's what we always
hours
thought.
a day. That phone can ring at 11 o'clock at night or 2 in the morning. It's constant.
my
Dr.
You
Jill has to
never
be there to
leave
pick it up.
And Joe
does.
worked really hard. I think he was a great president. And if you look at things today,
He's
everyone's
staring
gonna
at
clap.
the
There we
desk.
go.
He's staring at
You
the
know-
desk like he just meant it.
if you look at
he's
things
like,
today,
I know
give me
you.
Joe Biden anytime.
No. Okay. Wait.
You know his goofy ass.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. The only thing Joe Biden worked hard at was bankrupting the country, writing checks to other countries, and
Mostly collecting checks for himself and his family. Hunter's paintings. He's calling
Right?
people.
It's like, Joe, could you print
Your
some more
invoices sent out 31
deposit
days
slips?
ago for Hunter's painting.
Oh
It's so
man. I'm
ridiculous.
sorry. There's no way that man was working hard at shit. Just nothing. I'm sorry. It's laughable. And the crowd's like,
They're seals.
yay.
That freaking Super Bowl commercial with Seal the musician, his face on a seal.
Oh, I did
That
not
was
see
something.
that. I didn't see that
That was
one.
freaky, man. I was like, whoa, that is Seal.
I didn't see that. It's Seal. That's funny.
Still doing his singing Seal thing, you know? I was like, he signed up for that. He thought that was a good idea.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So anyway, the corpse is
Yikes.
that's we have just we've gone through all of the there was a bunch of did you see that there was a Democrat mayor that and some Democrat representatives, House of Representatives that broke into an ICE facility
Oh,
in New Jersey.
I saw that someone was arrested, but I
The
didn't hear
mayor
the
of
whole story.
Newark was arrested.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, the mayor of Newark. That's right.
Yes.
Okay,
In
and he
fact, I think
broke into an ICE facility, but I
yeah,
don't know
no,
what the intent was, or
well, they're
not
trying to
not that
rescue non-Americans.
they were trying to rescue some
Non-American.
nice New Jersey men.
Hold on. This is him talking to Caitlin Collins. And this is the mayor of Newark,
Hmm.
the one who got arrested.
Okay.
Let's hear what he has to say.
Your understanding of what happens next here? Were there conditions to your release? What was discussed before you left today?
Well, I mean, I obviously was charged with federal trespassing, and which is a Class C misdemeanor. But
But
going
if you're a
through this is
J6er, you get the death penalty for
just
that.
really humiliating and painful. But the reality is, this is what democracy is, right? And so,
It's really
we
not.
are in dispute here. And
Who
we're just
knew?
living in a time period now where if you are
Sorry, is
opposed
democracy
to the
about
ideas of
breaking
people,
into?
you could be threatened with arrest or intimidation, and that's exactly what's happening. And that's not the America that we want to be in. That's not the America that people chose to move thousands of miles from around the world to. This is not this place, and they're turning it into an authoritarianist government.
Your understanding.
What do you think?
Wow.
We're authoritarian.
Is authoritarianist a word?
I don't know, but we're real. we cast a wide net when it comes to interpreting words these days from our public officials. Wait,
I just want to know if that's a word.
well, that was a misdemeanor and that was humiliating, and but at least I didn't start the Civil War. No, you didn't start the Civil War, buddy.
So, wow. Okay.
I liked it. I think
Yeah.
let's arrest some more. And you can see some of these reps, like these Democratic rep chicks, like Elbow and ICE agents and stuff, and it's a melee.
They just want to go let these illegals out?
Oh, they love them. The more
Okay.
they kill, the more they rape, the more they pillage,
Yep.
the more they love them. They're like mythical Vikings.
Oh,
So
crazy. It's crazy.
that's some crazy. Now there is one. Well, there isn't one. Or Trump's on a tear. So
Okay.
we've got trade deals.
Yep.
We've got. Did you see what he just did with the executive order today on pharmaceuticals?
I have not.
He
This happened today.
signed
Okay,
an
so
executive order
Mhm.
that requires big pharma to charge America no more than they charge the lowest price they charge any other country,
Period.
essentially. And that
It's
is
brilliant.
now that is Trump wants to kill everyone with cancer, of course. That's
Oh, that's
gonna
okay.
ruin everything.
Okay.
But so that's good. There's all kinds of good things with Trump. But one thing I will say is that if you want to look for, I said that that one of the things we're at war with is the courts,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a bright ray of hope in the great state of Florida regarding a
Okay.
battle with the courts. I don't know if you've heard about this or not, but
You complimented
the
a Florida
Florida
man for me.
AG,
Yes, our attorney
I
general.
can't remember what his name is.
Mm,
AG James Uthmeyer.
Yes.
Uthmeyer or something. Whatever.
mhm.
And a federal district court judge in one of these little tin pot dictator judges down in Florida had told Florida that they're had forbade. They have
Okay,
forbade.
the whole state of Florida?
They have forbade anyone
Yeah.
associated, any cops, any whatever all the different law enforcement officers are in Florida. They're forbade from assisting ICE and ridding the country of or ridding Florida of illegal aliens and deportations. And AG Uthmeyer,
Mhm.
AG Uthmeyer has told the judge to go pound sand. And she's threatening to hold him in contempt of court.
Okay.
Here he is talking about what's going on.
Florida's AG says the court overstepped, refusing to tell law enforcement to stop arresting illegals. And now Judge Williams is holding the AG in contempt. And AG James Uthmeyer joins us tonight to talk more about that. And, sir, it's good to have you on. So you're just
He looks
trying
a
to
little
let
like
cops
Tim
arrest
Tebow.
illegals in your state.
Oh,
You've
really?
got another one of these activist judges trying to
short
stop you.
beard, you know. And now it sounds like she's threatening to throw you in jail.
And now it sounds like she's threatening to throw you in jail. Do I have it right?
You know.
Do I have it right?
That's right. This judge is considering whether or not to hold me in contempt, but I am not going to rubber stamp her order. I am not going to direct law enforcement to stand down on enforcing the Trump agenda and carrying out Florida's law. Here's the thing. There's not a single law enforcement agency as a party in front of the court in this case. And as a lawyer, the first day of law school, they tell you about separation of powers. They tell you that a judge can't order people around who are not under the jurisdiction of the court. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going.
That was a perfect answer. There's more to come, but he's 100% right on that. And that's one of the complaints that everybody has about these little tin pot dictator district court judges, is that they try to widen and have these national injunctions that don't have anything to do with the parties that are in front of them.
Exactly.
Let's hear
it.
Outside their jurisdictions.
My oath. I gave an oath to the Constitution, and that's where my loyalty lies.
What is her? I always am curious to hear the logic behind a ruling like this. What is her logic for not allowing for demanding the cops?
She hates America.
It's a good question, though.
What is she saying?
Well, the ACLU is suing to challenge the law and the constitutionality of that law. It's clear that she's got concerns with the law. We will appeal her injunction up at the appellate level, but she wants the law enforcement officers to stop committing arrests. And the problem is the ACLU didn't sue any law enforcement officers. So if they want to arrest people under the law, if they want to hand them over to ICE, if they want to help the Trump administration carry out detentions and deportations, they have the legal authority to do that, and I'm not going to stand in their way.
Yeah. I tell you what, when they opened up the border in this country, 4.5 years ago, they appeased a lot of their biggest supporters. And these people are not going to let us rebuild that border. If anything they can do to fight that, they're going to do it. That's what we're learning. James Usmeyer,
Wow.
She's threatening to hold him in contempt
Mm-hmm.
and send
the state's attorney general.
Who to go get him exactly?
Yeah.
Who do we think she would send to go get him? Let's say she wanted him in her court. She's holding him in contempt and she wants him there right now. Who do you reckon that she sends to go get the Florida State Attorney General? You think that the sheriff's going to go do it? The county sheriff? No, probably not.
No, because
you think anybody that's under the control of Ron DeSantis is going to go do that?
Nope.
You think anybody in control of the federal DOJ and controlled by Trump is going to do that? This would be perfect. This needs to go all the way because this will expose how powerless, how utterly powerless the courts are to enforce any of these edicts that they throw out.
Right. And
this is the tip of the spear. This is the fight that we have to have. And so good. God bless James Uthmeyer. God bless Florida. DeSantis is doing it in other areas too, and they're the tip of the spear and having some fights that on a national level we're going to have.
That's good.
And so go get them, Gators.
Absolutely. No, good for him. I mean, I think what you said, they get in this position and they hate Trump and they just decide to try to use their power. They're sitting on a bench and they feel like they're, in control of everything. All they have to do is make a declaration.
Do you think it's that they hate Trump, or do you think that that there's something about these illegals in America that they hate? They hate Americans and they seem to much favor non-Americans, non-citizens.
I feel like that's all wrapped together.
You think so? It's all part of the same
and
thing.
they've been brainwashed to say that Trump and all those, who support him hate brown people.
No, it's what I always say. Yeah. The poor Maryland man, the illegal aliens that invaded the country, that are raping and pillaging and killing our citizens. Those are future Democrat voters. That's what this is all about. This is all about their future voters. That's why they care so much.
Terrible.
100%. That's why they care so much. Now,
I don't know how they
part of it might be that they're tied to some corporate interests that want it too.
Right.
But I think a lot of it's voters. So,
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Wackadoos.
Yeah, that's what I... Did you see... This is interesting. 6 individuals. Now, I don't know how this happened, because as far as I've been told, this kind of thing doesn't exist. We have never had election fraud in this country. Elections are the cleanest they've ever been. But according to this, 6 individuals, including a judge, have been indicted and arrested for election related crimes tied to a vote harvesting scheme in Frio, Texas, according
Oh,
to Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton.
okay.
I don't know how that could happen in America because I was told it doesn't.
Right.
I mean,
Voter fraud
how are they
is
getting into these
impossible.
unbelievably secure election machines
Right.
that have the passwords right online? I don't know how they're doing
Exactly.
it. I mean, they have to be some crack hackers. That's what I know.
Crack hackers. So, Texas, what kind of
Mhm.
area in Texas do
I
we
don't
know?
know. Frio County. I don't know where that is
Okay.
because I don't know enough about Texas. I don't know all the counties in Texas. Well, I don't know any of the counties in Texas. Be fair.
Let's
How
see.
long is this clip? I think it's too long to play. It's too bad too because it's so
Is
good.
it? What is it?
Maybe we'll get it next time. You know, it's Mike Rowe
Oh,
talking
I like him.
about how the real crisis isn't job creation, it's a vanishing work ethic. The jobs are out there, but no one wants to do the hard work. He said in January, 482,000 jobs were available. There was no one to fill them. Not only not working, they aren't even looking for them. And that's a big deal. It's good. We'll come back to that. We'll get that next week because
Okay.
we're gonna wrap it up this week.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, we'll. Oh, this is how much the Democrats love their new voters. The
Okay.
New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham
Hmm.
signs a bill into law allowing some non-citizens to become police officers. That seems like a good idea.
Sure. Arm them and put them in charge of law enforcement. Illegals in charge of law enforcement.
In case you wondered, if you're a white middle class
Uh,
American law enforcement officer, then we're going to do everything we can to make your job as stressful and as impossible as we can.
wow.
But we'd like to have some illegal aliens wandering around with guns and badges. That'd be fun.
Sure. It's
Just
really smart. Smart stuff.
lunacy. They're
Yeah, there's
future
two
voters. They're after
future.
they have a different vision of America than the American people do. At least the vast majority
Yeah,
of the
they do.
American people. And that is becoming more and more clear, and that is valuable. The exposure is valuable. People need the
I
truth. That's what we're here for, Carrie.
I know, but again, I hope people see it.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
why we
well,
got to
hey,
get it out.
maybe like books like Jake Tapper's are going to help people see some stuff. I just think stuff like that. I'm sorry, that should have been headline news every day for so long
Well,
in the
that will be
campaign.
that will be the thing is okay, the cover up, right? That was
Right,
what
right.
everybody liked to say about Watergate. It wasn't what happened, it was the cover up that was so
Okay,
bad.
right.
So that's what it is.
And also, I think no one really called out um, the administration on installing Kamala as the candidate instead of having a primary. I can't believe that the people weren't more pissed about that.
The Democrat,
Yeah,
yeah,
stuff like that.
electorate.
I don't get it.
Well, we'll see. This is still shaking out. We're in the early days of the post
I
loss. I
want to
know it doesn't
see
feel
it
like that,
crumble. No, I want to see it crumble.
but they're working on it. They're
Faster.
doing everything they can to help you along.
Faster. Yeah, I know. I'm impatient, but
Listen, guys, check out Beers with Jesus tomorrow. We're going
yeah,
through Acts. It's not a
definitely.
preaching thing. We just enjoy the stories. On some weeks, I put out a podcast called Home Improvement Show.
How's it
That's
going?
that's
How's the
kind of
home
fun.
improvement going?
Good. I didn't put one out last week because we took the week off, but I will again.
Okay.
So, um, books are on Amazon. Toddsworld.net has all the gear. Come back to Todd's World. We do this every week, and Carrie's here
And
every week, and you
almost.
get the truth. That's what we're
No.
here for.
We
We're
try really,
here
really hard.
to present the
Please,
truth in an entertaining form.
please, I know we entertain ourselves. Please share with some people who you think will like the show.
Yeah, give us 5 stars if you haven't.
Yes, please.
Subscribe if you haven't, so you don't
I
miss a
know.
show.
Do it.
You're our new voters. All right, guys.
But we are acquiring you, honestly.
We're not going to tax you or send you to war.
Yeah.
We're going to take your kids and turn them into girls.
Oh, my God.
All right. Or boys, I mean. All right. Thank you for joining us today, Carrie. Thanks for coming back. I
Good
know it's a
seeing you.
tough week to fit it in. We'll be back next week. Hopefully,
We'll be
maybe in
back.
our more normal gigs.
I hope so.
All right. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you tomorrow with Beers with Jesus.
Thank you.
Oh, whoops. I got to learn how to pause this.